What is up, everybody? So we're heading from the gym to go get the car washed, and I figured on this drive, we'll engage 4.7 and let it do its thing here in a second. But I'm also going to take this time to give some thoughts on the version 12 video that's made the rounds that I'm sure most of you have already seen. Before I say anything, I will highly recommend anybody who hasn't yet to go check out AI Driver's video on it, as well as Dr. Know-It-All. They covered it in a fantastic way in a lot more detail than I can right now. The best I can do is add my 2 cents from the RoboTaxi side of things, or from the Rideshare side of things, to be more specific. Oh, look at that. While we're in the middle of that, the system almost ran a red light. System did not recognize red arrow, might be blinded by sun. And on that subject of me doing that voice report, one of the things that I think about after seeing that version 12 video is how relevant what I'm doing is. Now, admittedly, that's a little bit of my FOMO speaking out there, because yes, I want it. I want version 12. I was excited to see a truly end-to-end AI build. As Elon put it, nothing but nets. Neural nets through and through, no coding or programming of rules, no heuristics. Which is basically just the parameters to drive, to do its job. It's literally just video trained, and that's incredible. And I can see that leading into a more intuitive driving system. As an example, in those videos, the max speed, or in that video, sorry, the videos referring to Dr. Know-It-All and AI Driver that I saw, they both made a comment about how the max speed was 85 miles an hour, about 136 kilometers an hour. And the car wasn't fighting to try to get up to that speed. It was intuitively just driving along with traffic, which is amazing. And I think that is going to be extremely useful when it comes to getting on and off highways and flowing with traffic, because there are a few times where the system takes too long to register a drastic speed change on a lot of these on-ramp, off-ramp scenarios, mostly on-ramp, trying to go from 44 to 60 kilometers an hour up to 115, which is what I usually cruise at with that 10% offset. And the system being able to adaptively just flow with traffic and not have to rely on that hard set speed parameter is going to be a much smoother experience. I'll go ahead and engage again now that we're not in that direct line of sunlight. I'm guessing that maybe the low sun sort of blinded the system a little bit. And I apologize, I'm a little scatterbrained all over the place talking about this, but I'm also supervising 11.4.7, making sure we do this right. My biggest takeaway, though, when thinking about what Elon and Hansshow said in the car about it, the video trained, is we still have an important job to do as beta testers on version 11 and such, and the driving that we're doing, because we're ensuring that there is enough video training for version 12 to really become spectacular. I mean, Elon brought up that this isn't an easy thing to have done. It's just that they have so much video training data from so many testers over the years doing this that version 12 became possible. This isn't something that they would have been able to just pull out and impress everybody with, giggity, if they didn't have all of this data, all these videos, all this training information that they're able to feed in to those neural nets. So I am still very motivated to do this testing and to get the data for my own enjoyment, for the RoboTaxi reports and everything. I'm gonna still try to put out as much content as I can. In a big way, this reminds me of when we were finally going to version 11 and version 10 was dead. And all of us were like, oh my God, just give me version 11 now. I was there, and trust me, I'm there again with version 12. I want it yesterday because I want to be able to put it to work with customers and actually see how it handles everything. And that takes me back to some other things they were saying about how the system will essentially be able to problem solve. At least that's how I take that it'll do what it can to get to a destination, even if it doesn't have cellular or Wi-Fi or anything. It's local. It's doing what it knows how to do based on what it's trained in person, with very minimal compute, 100 watts of compute, which is what, about an average light bulb, I think is what Dr. Know-It-All said, which is incredible. And I look forward to being able to see version 12 tackle a lot of the random edge cases that you get when you're taking customers from place to place. Sometimes you have randomly closed roads and you got to find an alternate route. Currently, I have to take over because, well, either the system tries to turn down the closed road, or it just gets choked up and stops, and now we're just sitting there wasting the customer's time. I want to see a system that can adapt on the fly and figure out a different path and instill that confidence that's going to make a customer want to use this transportation as a service. Here we go, right on red. Good. Little stagnant, little throttle there to keep us moving. Overall, not too bad, you know, minus the critical disengagement, missing the, see, oh, here you go, before I say anything else. These people are rushing by, like this guy, and that's because the speed limit right there was like 44 kilometers an hour, and it's that way through this whole road. So version 12 being able to intuit speeds in the flow of traffic will be so much better than me having to tick this up or take over to speed up or pissing everybody off behind me because this car is deciding to go terribly slow. It's not safe to drive that much slower than the traffic around you. Getting back to what I was saying though, we want customers to feel confident in a RoboTaxi service. You don't want them to get in and be taken all over the place for no reason, be late for an appointment, late to the airport, whatever, and then, you know, they're on Yelp saying, hey, don't ever use Tesla Network, it sucks. It's the last thing you want. But with an intuitive system that can effectively problem solve and find a different way to get where it's going. See, I'm gonna speed up because this is dumb. 30 kilometers slower than we should be cruising through here. True CYBRLFT fashion, guys. Split brain trying to talk while supervising 11.4.7. But anyway, along with it being able to hopefully figure out alternative routes and intuitively get through weird scenarios, it'll be interesting to see what actually trips up version 12. What makes this system go like, whoa, I haven't had really any training on this, and what's the vehicle going to do in that case? You know, is it going to pull over? Is it going to try to lean on some other training data to get around the scenario that's causing a hiccup? There's a lot of unknowns and a lot of reason that I'm curious and really want to try it out. I look forward to seeing eventual demonstrations of the system being able to react to voice input from passengers inside. You know, say a customer just says, please drop me off around the corner, like go, you know, take this right and drop me off, you know, in this neighborhood or something. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of cool little things that I'm looking forward to seeing in action. And I don't know how long it's going to take for version 12 to get to us. I've seen that in the comment section as well. Like, when do I think version 12 will come to testers? That is damn near impossible to say. I hope soon. Like, I hope this year. That would be amazing. I hope that they're able to push out some version of it, or I don't know, because I know there was also talk about version 12 not being beta, but that doesn't really make much sense, and I don't really think that's all that important anyway. I think that a version of version 12, like some point of version 12, will no longer be beta. That's fine. I feel like a lot of people get way too hung up on the semantics. Let's not overcomplicate things. I hope that we get some form of version 12 in the next month or two. Would be incredible. But I'm going to train the hell out of it, version 11, or I'm going to at least, I mean, even if hypothetically what I'm doing doesn't really carry much weight, I'm still going to do what I'm doing to bring self-driving content, custom reaction content, data stuff, because what'll be cool is I'll be able to measure eventual versions of the 12 build on the RoboTaxi report and show how it compares to 11.2, 4.4, 4.7. I think it'll be better than what we're doing now right from the get-go. I'm fully confident that version 12 will outperform 4.4 and 4.7. Honestly, these patches have not set the bar very high. I will be very impressed if my first time using version 12 is as good as 11.4.2 was. Admittedly, in my scenario, in my case, over those 50, 60 trips I did, it seemed to be a really interesting, unique unicorn build. A 93 overall success. That's a really high bar compared to any of the other self-driving patches. So version 12 has its work cut out for it in that sense. But ultimately, I am very excited. I do think it is game-changing to have end-to-end AI, and the fact that the vehicle is able to park too. I think it'd be really cool when I'm dropping off customers or picking them up that the vehicle can actually kind of get to the side of the road, come to a stop, let them in. We'll be able to actually start seeing true end-to-end RoboTaxi trips versus my sort of grace period or grace zone, might be a better way of saying it, with the way I do it now. Because essentially, I'll get out of a weird parking lot or neighborhood or whatever and then start the trip and count that as a RoboTaxi trip. We'll be able to raise that bar a bit, you know, the expectations. I want to see how version 12 handles neighborhoods, complex parking lots like malls and shopping plazas, and how it handles gated communities. apartment complexes, how it handles all of the weird parking lot scenarios that you can imagine all over the place. And we'll see how much it struggles. I don't want to ramble on too much more. I don't really have too much else to really say about it. My expertise and use comes from doing rideshare and putting the system to work. I will proudly and confidently say that I am, and a few others that have reached out to me, are actually putting the system to work, doing what it's meant to eventually do, which is to work as a transportation service, to actually be a product and not just, you know, take you to a coffee shop and take you home, which would be nice for owners. But this is the real grassroots, you know, like strap on your boots beta, get to work type of a scenario. So as soon as I do get it, and any build that I do have, you guys can count on me beating it up and giving you the objective feedback. I'm interested in the data and what it actually can do, and I hope that I get it soon. But we're pulling up here to the car wash. We got some weird braking here. I'm gonna go ahead and take over because this Toyota behind me is being sketchy. Oh, they're turning anyway. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Any questions you might have regarding version 12. I know that was a little bit scatterbrained and all over the place, but with me always running around, I don't really have time to sit down and make a dedicated video about this. So hopefully you enjoy or at least appreciate my 2 cents in this fashion. Not a bad drive on 4.7 to get over here. Mostly smooth. I'm able to have a conversation with y'all while it operates in the background. We had that unfortunate disengagement at the red light, which will go into my data as a critical disengagement, unfortunately. Could be where the sun is. We'll see how version 12 handles different lighting conditions too, when it comes to low setting sun and all that jazz. But until the next video, guys, you take care. I'm gonna try to get this thing cleaned up and go get some customers.